everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of My Wet Dreams here on Let's Be Honest. Last time out, we talked about the obstacles around setting up a new venue and the fun and joys that can bring. So I feel a little more positivity is needed this time around, don't you? Also, before we move on, I think I should clarify wet dream. You may say, wise? I certainly know what a wet dream is. But a wet sail is drinks in hospitality, as wet is drinks and dry is food. And it's not me at Candy's World of Water adult theme park. That was a fun day. As I stated in the last episode, people are sometimes not very nice. I think that's what I said. I also shared that I got stitched up for a cool 100,000 big ones. Still, it's only money. Am I right? You're not wrong. Now, fucking hellfire. Straight into it. Now, contrary to what I thought might happen, the experience hasn't made me hate people, the industry, or be a horrible individual. Well, I don't think so anyway. It's just made me extremely cautious and not really trust people. If me, or you for that matter, not being a trusting person, if that's our worst trait, then I'll take that every day. I also talked about the sacrifices and the things that you need to give up when starting a business, like sleep, sanity, and the odd kidney, all overrated in my opinion. Saying all of that, do not let any of this or all that put you off, because it really shouldn't. After everything that happened to me, it's still the best thing I've ever done. I know these days people say, it's just too hard, it's too far away, I can't afford my own business, it's too difficult. I don't know why they sound like that. It is difficult. It also might mean that you're just fucking lazy and you don't want to get a little bit bloody. For the record, the distance hasn't got any further away. It's always been hard. If anything, I think it's easier these days. And contrary to what Greta might say, your dreams aren't fucking ruined. Not the wet ones, anyway. Ooh, my mind is going somewhere I really don't want it to go now. Anyway, fuck it, that's life. Things happen, shit happens, look in the mirror, dust yourself down. Time for round 2, which, as it happens, was just around the corner with us. So then, with my special parts still slightly smarting from the $100,000 kick right in the middle of my Viagra's, a good few months pass, and an opportunity presents itself. The funny thing about things that present themselves, your eyes still have to be open. Or, alternatively, you can just walk around feeling sorry for yourself. It's your choice at the end of the day. So then, we, as in me and my partner, we found a new site. And it's not very pretty at all. In fact, it's butt-fucking ugly. Also, many had failed at this site before us, but it was bigger, and sometimes if you have imagination, vision, and you're kind of in the hole, you can picture what it might become, which we had to do. So we did. Did it put us off that all had failed before us? Who cares? We really didn't have much choice, did we? It was a gift. And a little bit of luck that I believe we deserved, especially after what had occurred. I also realised that I usually say that we, as in all of us, do not deserve anything. On this occasion, however, when it wasn't our fault, when it was somebody else, circumstances being what they were, I was allowing myself a little bit of deserved luck. Someone, a landlord for whom I will always be grateful, took a chance on us. So, 3 months after we were flushed down the toilet, and not to be defeated, because it was almost like unfinished business, we were back at it. The strange thing was, I don't think giving up was even an option. That conversation never occurred as far as I can remember. Very strange now I think about it. The obvious thing would have been to want to give up. By the way, I hope you realise that this is not me telling you that I bought a bar one day. Me, ain't I just super? This is about fear, hope, fight, and dreams. Maybe it's a journey that you will go on. Maybe it's one that you've already had. And maybe you are bang right in the middle of it at the moment. Like a lot of these episodes, it's me saying to you that you are not alone. And more often than you think, other people have been down the same road as you. I'm sure there are many small bar, cafe, venue owners that have had a crazy journey to get where they are. As I said before, maybe sharing your story will give the new breed coming through some pointers and hopefully some inspiration. So, my anger had subsided and we're in. My anger then turned to reflection. On day one of the new venue, when the reality of the situation had really set in, I distinctly remember a defining moment. I was sitting down on the floor because I had no chairs yet. I looked around at the dark, soulless and eerily quiet space. I was 50 years old. The place was an absolute fucking toilet and we had less than no money. Now, I don't know what that figure looks like. However, I do very much know what it feels like. I'm also not ashamed to say that I sat there on this particular day and I wept like a little baby. One that had probably just shit itself. See, I always go back to poo at some point, don't I? Got a toilet thing going on, clearly. I remember thinking, I'm 50 years old, and I reckon that mouse that I can see in the corner has more money than I do. I also remember watching the mouse, tilting my head to one side, thinking he, she, or they looked really quite happy. It was a strange, defining moment of calm. I'm also going to be a tad dramatic now and quote something, because this is how I felt at that moment, at that time. It came to me and it actually helped enormously. By the way, many times in my life, I have tended to revert to scenes or lines from movies. Maybe a bit silly, but it's always worked for me. We've talked about this before. Whatever works, right? A man looks into the abyss. There is nothing staring back at him. At that moment, he finds his character, and that's what keeps him out of the abyss. I've pulled on that line quite a few times over the years. Well, that and I'm your father. That probably sounded quite weird, didn't it? Fucking hell, drink time. Oh, hang on, where is it? Oh, it is a little early today, but I'm okay with that. I think now is as good a time as any to pause for a drink. Oh, look at that. I didn't realise I'd written that. Didn't realise, I'll have another drink then. Don't mind if I do, thank you very much. And I want to tell you about something that you didn't know you needed. And that is our sponsor, the very friendly people at mysterymanagement.com.au. Mystery Management have been sending skilled mystery shoppers into over 2,000 venues for the last 16 years. Now that's a lot of years in business, from pubs and clubs to cafes and now even public transport, to make your business more efficient and more profitable by assisting in raising the bar with their customer satisfaction strategies. Their mission is to offer quality feedback to you, because you need to know what's going on in your business, don't you? mysterymanagement.com.au. It's all in the service. So after my moment looking deep into the abyss, I got off my arse and I thought, well, what's the alternative anyway? I don't know how to do anything else. Let's kick the shit out of this, shall we? So we did. Me and my machine of a future wife. I also remember back to my boss from, over 30 years ago, when I was struggling, having just moved to London from little old Wales. He said, mate, this business, it's not a job. It is a way of life. And I know I always say this, but you will hear me say that an awful lot over the next so many months or however long this lasts for, because it is one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me, anybody ever gave me. Now, like I know a lot of you will have done, myself and my other half worked very, very hard from very early to very late for a long time. You know what? I'm going to start calling her my partner, because I can't say wife because she wasn't yet. Girlfriend makes me sound like I'm 16, and fiancé, Well, I'm never going to say that word. Do that, and I'm one step away from ordering almond fucking lattes and taking baths every day. No, no, no. Anyway, when we were getting the venue ready, like most of the sensible people starting out, if we didn't know how to do something, we YouTubed it, or we just read up on it. You certainly didn't call a guy. You didn't have the money to call a guy. You just figured it out. You managed. The first day of trading in the new venue, I remember we took $10 whole. And that was also a mate of mine who came in to fix the fridge, and he insisted on paying. Cheers, Dave. We ran that venue for 6 very successful years, employing lots of people, meeting great customers that turned into friends, and we made $1 or $2. You know what? Not bad for a boyfriend-girlfriend combination who took $100,000 shit and then had to start again. If we can do it, so can you. As always, just go slow. I don't wish to sound like an old man, but good things often take time. So, how did we get away with it? Well, let's back up a bit, shall we? Like most of us at the start of the journey, money was an issue. I knew we couldn't compete with the big or more established players. So, what do you do when you find yourself in that situation? You have to do something that other people aren't doing. You have to get creative, and of course, you have to be prepared to work your bollocks off, your man bollocks or your lady bollocks. Putting everybody's bollocks aside for the purpose of this piece, as I may have mentioned in previous episodes, I used to co-own a Scandinavian bar in London. I clearly liked the whole winter thing. I thought, you know what? Let's do something similar in Sydney. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? Fantastic. Famous last words. Hang on. Don Julio's my flavour today. I suggested to my friend back home in the UK that I was going to open a basement winter lodge in Sydney. The first reaction from my friend was, "Have you been at the tequila again?" He obviously knows me too well. Short answer was, yes, but that doesn't mean I'm wrong, does it? The fact that he said it was a totally ridiculous idea really, really made me want to do it. For me, there is always and will be a very fine line between shit and awesome. That's what I believe anyway. You may remember, again in previous episodes of Let's Be Honest, where I said, if everybody zigs, you should zag. Or another way of looking at that is, look the other way. Also, let's be honest, there really is little point in using quotes from renowned people or people that have made it in what you're trying to do and then not adhering to what comes out of your own mouth, is there? Too many people walk around these days spouting other people's lines but not living up to the words. Makes the individual sound good though, doesn't it? So I went back to my partner and I said, all right, we need to look at this in a different way. To start, we need something that will encapsulate a winter lodge. So after exhausting all things connected with winter, snow, cold, whatever it may be, we landed on a bear. As in the big grizzly thing, not being naked. Why not, we thought. It was a clean enough word. What can we do with that? From a signage perspective, while doodling in front of the TV at home one night, I thought, if we take the E out of bear, it spells bar. Hang on the fuck a minute, I cried. Maybe I'm onto something here. Then just at that moment, I felt another pain in my chest. Yeah, just like the one I experienced in part 1. I turned to my partner, I said, I think I'm having a stroke. Of genius. Dear me. I remember thinking the whole bear thing was a real light bulb moment, a genius moment. So I told a few people, thinking they would be as pumped as I was. I was getting ready for all the honours and compliments that would undoubtedly come flooding my way. So wise. I thought, yeah, that sounds fucking good. Nothing. Zero enthusiasm for the name and the concept. You could see in people's eyes when I told them. It was like, great, good for you. That sounds fun. Winter Lodge, bear, and being a bit shit in Sydney. Yeah, mate, sounds good, great. You could see behind their eyes they were thinking, that is one shit idea, mate. That certainly became obvious to me when I went to half a dozen or more people to find out if they wanted to invest. Again, nothing. A few said, well, we'll see how you do, then we'll talk. Nobody wanted to invest in us. Nobody would touch us. That's when you look at your partner and say, looks like it's just you and me, kiddo. You question yourself every single day. Well, I did anyway. Not my now wife, though. Unmovable faith, focus, and determination, as I mentioned. What's that saying? Behind every successful guy, there's a more successful woman. Yep, I'm down with that. So, stage 1 completed. We had a name that nobody liked. We had a vague idea that nobody liked. And sod all money. Whatever money we did have, we borrowed. Time to get super creative, I guess. As mentioned before, what choice do you have? I truly believe that when you're in the shithouse, the good Lord will present himself. I also truly believe that Jesus was most definitely in hospitality. I mean, look at what he did with water, fish, and a bit of bread. That man could stretch a budget. Also, how many of us could get a reservation for 13 at the last minute on a Wednesday before Easter? In a private room as well. He knew people. So what did Jesus send to me in my darkest hour? Answer? He sent me South Park. Yes, that's right. The cartoon. My saving grace. Thank you, baby Jesus. We have identified that I had no money. Sorry to keep saying that, but it's true. As most people in business will know, you are always only a few months away from closing that door. You really are. Well, because of our history, we were literally weeks away from closing. I tell you something else, that shit gets you out of bed every single morning. So one night, while watching South Park with my partner, I'm doodling again and panicking, of course, thinking, how the hell are we going to pull this off? Why would anybody come to us? It's shit. I'm shit. My shit stinks. Fuck. I was flapping so much. And then she said, in a calm voice as always, how many bars are there in Sydney? I said, well, I don't know, a lot. That's the problem. What's your point? She then said, our bar is just one more. Sydney can take it. There are enough people. You don't want all the people to come to us. You just want some of them. Kind of made sense. I think it was Confucius that said, when you're fucking right, you're fucking right. I may have got the translation wrong a little bit. So, no investors, no money, and an idea that appeared universally unpopular. Sounds like the start of something special to me. Then, I had a moment in front of the TV. Something stirred. Not in the place where I usually like things to stir. South Park, as mentioned, was on the TV. Let's say it was season 16 or 17, so still hugely successful. However, the animation was still as crap as it was on season 1, when the creators probably had no money themselves. So I said to my partner, that's the answer. That's it. We don't need to try and be great. We need to make it all a little bit shit. The look I got was a little strange, I'm not going to lie. I went on to suggest that a bit shit has clearly more comedy value than slick and polished. Let's not buy top-class furniture. Let's mix and match. It's cheaper and arguably more fun. Let's hire a van, go around to all these second-hand places. Why pay $125 for an industry chair when you can buy 6 that don't match and have wonky legs? Fuck it, we can fix the legs. It's a Christmas miracle. Look, there's Michael Bubble. I remember it not being Christmas, but I said it anyway. Why spend shitloads of money? Do people really give two nuts what they sit on? I don't think they do. Let's not buy the most expensive glasses. Let's buy the ones that were allegedly cool last year. Again, cheaper. And also, I think, call me picky, but I think it's what goes in the glass that really matters. Don't you? If you are not attempting to be in vogue, if you were never in vogue in the first place, you can't be out of Vogue. That's the way I saw it anyway. Also, let's keep it cheesy with lots of tongue-in-cheek comedy. Let's, cheaply of course, litter the place with bearhead pictures that we make ourselves. Let's go and buy a couple of giant fuck-off bears from Costco and place them inside the entrance of the venue. Hang the fuck on a minute, I thought. People will come in, they will see massive cuddly bears, they will stop and take photos, especially the ladies. They will then Instagram and promote the venue before they've even bought a drink, mixed in with a little bit of queue management, giving me or the staff the time to get over, say hi. All equaling, the way I thought it, happy, fun people. And it costs fuck all. Genius, right? Good drinks, interesting decor, lots of comedy, and good old-fashioned courteous service. My partner and myself, at that time, asked the question of each other, why are we here? As in, the two of us in business. We want to make people smile. It's a fucking good place to start, don't you think? It's cheesy, it's simple, but it's also true. I thought, let's make this place like an old pair of slippers, jeans or a sweat top. There is a certain bizarre comfort in those things. Let's make it like people's living rooms. Make it that they don't want to leave. Make it a hugely comfortable space. I said to my partner, attempting to justify my own self-professed genius, what's more fun at karaoke? Somebody good or somebody shit? Exactly. That's the answer. Thanks, South Park. So without going into too much detail, because I don't want to bore the pants off you, we had our name, our backstory, and our why. We got to it. We got down and we got dirty. And I mean Linda Lovelace dirty. My young friends, you have missed out on so much good stuff in the 70s. You'll never know. We smiled, we mopped, we cooked, we served, and we fixed. We managed. We didn't look or care what anybody else was doing. To this day, I very rarely do. Just be good at what you do. If you are good, people will come to you. If you are very good, they will copy you. But always try and be original. I know that doesn't really work that much these days. People copy everybody. But to me, I've always said the same. I would either rather be amazing or completely dog shit than average. At the beginning, we certainly didn't and couldn't pay for marketing or any form of write-ups. That money that we had, the small amount, went on, silly things like chairs, stock, glasses. Call me fussy. But I thought that was more important than getting some wanky write-up where somebody's just verbally touching me up. I can pretty much guarantee that the money that you spend on somebody naming, painting, or promoting your venue, well, you're going to need that money at some point to keep your doors open. Remember that. Do I sound like a bit of a know-it-all? No, but I know something, and I know some things, and that's all I'm doing. I'm sharing. To be honest, even when we did start doing well, we still never paid for any write-ups in the whole 6 years of trading. Nothing. They, whoever they were not interested in us at the beginning when we were in the toilet. So, and as I've said before, as the French say, fuck 'em. I was even approached at one point by a company that said they had a client that wanted to invest $50,000. Hey, every business needs that money, they said. You would be foolish to turn that down. All right, I'm foolish then, aren't I? I don't need an investor bringing in their mates, pissing it up the wall, sitting at the end of the bar, giving it the big I own a bar. I needed those people at the start, not when I'm doing well. Time for another newsflash, boys and girls. You own a bar to work in it, not to drink in it. We also rated very highly on Google. Out of nearly 700 reviews, I think it was, we rated about 4.8 out of 5, which is kind of nice. So check out the forthcoming episode called Reviewing Me, Reviewing You, where I talk about the power of the review and if treated with care, how you can get it to work for you. The whole idea and concept of the bar actually working was so ridiculous that a very lovely professor that I know invited me to speak in his economics class in Sydney University. Imagine if I came up to you and I said that I was opening a World Winter Lodge in a basement bar in sunny Sydney, purposely attempting to make it a bit crap with one projection of a train through snowy mountains on the wall that never changed in 6 years, homemade bearhead pictures everywhere, outdated glasses, with a boyfriend-girlfriend team. Would you invest? So the message, as far as I'm concerned, have a dream. A wet one, if it takes your fancy. Work hard. Be creative. And don't spend money that you don't have. Always trust yourself and be very careful who you get into bed with. Also, there will always be somebody ready to put their hand in your pocket. With great dreams, there comes great responsibility to yourself, to the product, and to the industry. Just to finish, I would like to address something a number of people have said to me recently. They said, Wise, because that's my name, you're not controversial enough. My answer, I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm trying to be helpful to anyone who thinks they may need it, to start a conversation and to get people to ask questions of themselves and the people around them, to help make the industry a better place for all concerned. If I do on occasion, or a lot, use colourful language and push people's buttons, then so be it. I don't wish to upset anybody, ever. But if I do, fuck 'em. Right then, that's the end of my wet dream. I'm off to clean myself up, but not before I thank you again for listening and for supporting the podcast. I really, really do appreciate it. If you dig the whole thing, tell people that you do. And I will, as always, love you forever. So until next time, grab a pad and a pen, old school, sit in a cafe, and create a dream. That's how I and many before me started. Love and peace, everybody. Catch you next time.